It's the Zach Sang Show. Zach Sang Show.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi, Nick Jonas.
What's up?
How are you, man?
I'm all good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, dude. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Come here. Hello,
What's
hello.
up, man? Where do you want me?
Hello. You're gonna be right here, man.
Perfect.
This is all you.
We're waiting.
How's your day going?
It is the Zach Sang Show. Nick Jonas is hanging out in the studio right now.
What up?
Yep. Last year was complicated.
Yeah.
Pre-order today, March 25th, album out June 10th.
Yep.
Was it that complicated? Because from an outsider looking in, I would say that last year, in my opinion, was a massive year for you, right?
It was.
2 hit TV shows, Kingdom, Scream Queens,
Yeah.
2 massive singles. I mean, you reinvented yourself in music, and you came back in a way that you've never hit before.
Yeah. I think the thing, that I was really focused on in making the record was that we all go through the same things. No matter where we are in our life or career, what we do, who we're around, we deal with some of the same human issues and things. And the whole backstory, basically the title of the album, which I'll tell really quickly, is that I was making the record, came to a point where I felt like I was nearly finished. And I went and played it for JayZ, who is now partners with my manager, Phil McIntyre. So played him the record and had a title picked out that I thought worked, which is one of the album tracks called Unhinged. And he was like, listen, after hearing the record and as I'm getting to know you more and more, he's like, I feel like that doesn't quite embody the whole body of work.
Yeah.
So tell me about this year of your life. What's it been like? And I was like, last year was complicated. And he was like, that's it.
Wow.
So he helped sort of get the title and the whole thing, and it's great. I kind of ruined the release plans. Like there's always things, and the last night I just was like, all right, I'm just ready to do this.
You just did it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
But you control a lot of your own stuff. You're the master of your domain. I mean, Safe House Records, you're a smart dude. You haven't been doing this for a short time. You know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, I try.
But
try.
Is it still surreal when you get to sit down with JayZ and play him your record?
Oh, of course. I mean, he's been incredible in this next chapter, and the whole team at Rock. I've been with my manager Phil now for 11 years, 12 years.
That's crazy.
So to have now that component as well to all of it is great, and his input was amazing and really helpful.
Now let's take a look at last year was complicated, right?
Yeah.
The album, you released a track list. Your songs are personal. I mean, walk me through your styling. How do you create a song? How does it work for you? Like, how do you get inspiration for a song? Do you go to the voice memo? Do you do it in your notes? What's your move? How does it work for you?
It's funny, it's always different.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of voice memos. There's a lot of, random words that I'll write in my text just to remember them because it comes at a million miles a minute. But with this record, most of it came from a very, very real place. So, something would happen in my life and it would inform the writing. So the 12 songs that are on the album are all incredibly important to me and very personal. And then there are ones that, may not be heavy and still some lighter tones to the record as well. But it's really like an open book, just about my life. And
is it hard for you to be honest? Because I don't want to say like your music in the past wasn't honest and real, but I think now you're at a different stage in your life. I mean, close, you've talked about, you not being vulnerable and being able to open up. Yeah. You've reached a different point. These songs are very different from Burning Up and SOS, right? Different meaning, different side of you. Is it hard for you to be that personal sometimes?
Well, I think for a lot of people, for most people, at the beginning of any relationship, you have that moment where you find it very hard to trust the person, or you dive in head first and then you find out later that it's hard to trust them. That's been a lot of my experience. And also, I think that coming from a place of just trying to be as real as possible, you're able to say way more than you'd probably be able to say in just a conversation. So, with the music, it's the perfect outlet and really been almost like therapy for me to be able to write this music and go on this journey.
Here's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Professionally, last year was great.
Amazing, yeah.
Personally,
A little complicated.
Yeah.
And not bad. I mean, that's the great part about that word. I probably use it more than I should, but it doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, there's just, you learn a lot about yourself when you become single amidst, sort of a crazy ride you're on in your career and other things, and it's insane.
How do you have experienced a heartbreak that you had last year before in your life?
I would say this, is that it's never black and white. So there were stages to everything. There's the end of a chapter, which is always tough, and then there's the excitement about being free and being your own person, going on that journey. And then, there's a really important song on this record called Chainsaw, which I'm hoping will be the second single. And it to me, it was about walking through the house that I went to a lot with my ex up in Mammoth, California, and reliving, a lot of the relationship, and the couch reminded me of her, and then the plates, like everything is like a thing, and I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. So, you can try to pick out whose fault it was that it ended or what is going to happen next, but the reality is when you've shared something with somebody, it still is painful in some way, and, it's that.
Did you see this going to marriage?
Maybe, I don't know. I think that I'm very aware of my age, the fact that I'm quite young.
Yeah.
My brother Kevin got married pretty young, but he's very happy and now has a beautiful baby. And so I'm not sure. I don't know that I can answer that, but I think that it's important to be young and live life and see what happens.
So you break up, and you talked about, that's a stage of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Being free, being your own person for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
How long does it take you before you actually get out there and start, having some fun?
I don't really remember, to be honest. I think I dove...
That could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know.
I dove in head first on the writing first. I mean, the day that things ended, I went up with a group of friends who are also songwriters, and we just wrote a bunch of music.
Hell yeah.
And it was that for a little while. And then I was so busy. And this year's been so busy. And also the acting stuff was a cool outlet as well, to be able to use that as a way to sort of channel whatever energy is going on in your own life to the character.
Hell yeah.
It's been good. Yeah.
It's a good release.
It is.
Let's get into that. What was it like being on set in such a huge way this year? I mean, you spent a lot of time on set when you're doing Disney Channel, and you've also obviously acted throughout the years, but you did some heavy TV stuff. You were recurring characters. You were on set often. You were high up on that call sheet, man. What was it like being back there and working with a director and getting into a character?
Scream Queens is a lot of fun, and one of those roles that you really get to just play with and kind of mess around. And my castmate in that, Glenn, was just so funny, and we had a great time. And then Kingdom, he's so funny.
Oh my god,
the show is great.
Kingdom, way more heavy, and we just finished our third season, so we're kind of deep into that now, and my character's journey on that is very intense. And then this movie Goat that I did,
James Franco.
Yeah, it was great. We were there at Sundance and got a great reaction, and since then a lot of really cool scripts have come in that I'm hoping I get to make this year at some point. I've got the tour with Demi in the summer, which will take up a big chunk of time.
Yay.
And then in between that and maybe some more touring in the winter and fall, I'll try to fit in a little movie.
I mean, let's take a second here and soak all of that in, and let's take a look. Let's think about how far you've come and how long you've been doing this. Do you ever get amazed by it that you're still on the ride of your life?
I think the thing that I get amazed at is that I learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I'm strangely pretty far into my career as far as years go now, like 15, 16 years, including my Broadway days as a kid. And even now, so many years later, I'm still learning something new about myself, about what I want to say as an artist, and how this all works.
Yeah.
Because it is as an artist, the landscape is changing so dramatically,
crazy fast,
and you have to kind of be on the cutting edge of every single way to release music and share your music, and so it's been a lot of open and honest conversations with my partners, with Demi, with Safe House, and my label Island, and my manager. So we're all just trying to get creative as to what do we do in 2016 to make a real impact and to continue to evolve. And so that's the next thing.
Do you feel like the respect when you sit down with an executive like Charlie Walk, or when you sit down with JayZ, they give you a lot of respect. They admire what you've accomplished. I mean, is that that must be a big change, right? If you think back to early on, and you didn't get that, right? You were going in and sometimes you were kind of a slave to the label almost,
Yeah. No, it's definitely come a long way, and it feels good. And I think the other thing that feels good is that Joe's success now with his band DNCE is amazing.
It is amazing.
And I think there is kind of an unspoken. We're both proud of the fact that coming from where we came together and a lot of bias. I think when I was initially launching as a solo artist, just because people's first introduction to us was in the front of their mind. So I had to work hard to show them who I am today. And the fact that he now has real success and is happy, it just makes everything better. If the whole team wins, we all win. Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah, it's really special.
How do you measure success at this point in your life?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew the answer to that. I mean, I think that more than anything right now, it's about truly being happy and content. You know, I have a pattern of comparing myself to other artists that I think are in my lane, kind of doing what I'm doing. But with this next step, I really just said, no one else is doing that but me. You know, I think very much that I am in my own spot just as much as they are in their own spot. And it's about just being comfortable and happy and loving what you do, and that's my focus.
Do you think it's more competitive now, the landscape, than it was, you know, maybe 8 years ago?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, especially right now because, you know, there's so much new music.
A lot of good music.
A lot of really good music. And it's you know, for me, it's about just going with my instincts creatively. So I'm always, you know, pretty hard-headed in a writing session and you know, have a million ideas. And I'm aware that of the million, maybe, you know, 15 are great and we'll make a, you know, good song. So I think it's all about just sticking to those instincts, working with great people, and staying in your lane, what you do. You know. When
you go into a session, what do you come prepared with? Like, do you have a plan? Because I've gotten to know you over the years, and I've gotten to like really experience your work. And from what I've gathered is that like, you know what you want almost, right? And you're obviously incredibly smart. You're so musically like just connected. It's unreal. You know, unlike other artists, right? Some artists go into a session, it's kind of, they have a loose idea, but they're really going to follow what's put in front of them. Yeah. How does it work for you? Like, because you worked with Max Martin on this album. Yeah. I mean, what is a session like that like?
Well, that session's interesting. It's you know, specifically with Max Martin's songs or songs that he's a part of in some way, they're really challenging vocally. So you have to really be prepared with, you know, sort of just the melody and connecting to the words. And you know, you see the people that he works with are truly great singers. So it's a pretty big pressure to really deliver. But in other sessions, you know, I think, like I said, I'll show up and I'll have something I want to talk about. Most times it stems from a real life experience. And it can feel, just being real at times, like you're a bit self-absorbed, so you have to apologize. Or I always feel the need to apologize in the room. Like, after we write this song, I want to hear all about your life. We talked for a couple hours about mine. And I really do genuinely love the people that I collaborate with. You know, it was Jason Evigan who did Chains, my last one, and Teacher, and Nolan, who I worked on Jealous with. You know, so the same kind of crew, as well as some of these amazing Swedish songwriters and producers.
It's crazy. I mean, I listen to the music and I really soak it in, man. It's unreal, and where pop music is going is special. I agree. What's your biggest strength as a musician?
I think my melodic sensibility. I mean, it's something that I've worked on for a long time and worked with people that I feel like, you know, I really admire something about their writing style and try to kind of soak it in and make it a part of my repertoire afterwards, you know. So yeah, my melodic sense, and there are real, I think, distinct things within my sound now that stem from sort of where I come from a melodic angle.
And you just mentioned something. You pick up something new from everybody you work with, right? You learn something new.
Yeah.
What's the most valuable thing you've learned recently that you've taken with you and actually used?
The most valuable thing I've learned recently, to just chill out.
Yeah.
Like you realize that it's everything's fine. I mean, the world's not, we're fine, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself because we all love what we do, and it's a great thing, but it's all good. Like we're in a great spot, and we get to, you know, create something, and that's a real honor, and it should just be fun.
It really is. And do you feel like you have more creative freedom now than ever with your music and with your style? I mean, like Future Now, you and Demi are collaborating on it. This is coming off the heels of you know, being the creative director for Neon Lights. I mean, Talk to me about Future Now. What are we getting into here?
Well, Demi and I looked at each other. We said, okay, if we're going to do this, we have to make it really special because, you know, we toured in the past with the Brothers years ago.
I remember that tour, man.
Yeah, it was
fun. That was a good one. It rained in that tour.
It did.
There was rain, and it was in a Jonas Brothers logo. I remember. I was freaking amazed in my seat at the Prudential Center.
That's funny. So we said we got to make it a really great experience for the fans. And find a way to build the structure of the show so that it really feels like a night of music and not set lists and broken up. And so we're working on everything from the design of the stage, to the set list, kind of both with each other too. As you mentioned, I creative directed her last tour, so there's trust there. There's an ability to just speak honestly, and We're even, I mean, down to like the smell. We want when you walk in the venue for it to be really clear where you are and what you're about to experience.
It's the details that matter.
The details.
I mean, working with Demi Lovato, I mean, she's an incredible human being, like a super talent, right?
She is. A Grammy performance, basically, I mean, I was like ready to cry. As
Tears,
a friend,
yeah.
Like validating beyond, and I feel like she, like not that she needed it, but like she deserved that moment.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
She really did.
She killed it.
What do you think of the Grammys, right? You brought it up, not me, and she had some choice words to say about it, right? She was very upset.
I think for all artists, it's a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm very real about the fact that that is a thing that should be awarded to you when they feel it's appropriate. So it's out of my control, and of course a nomination would be cool. But I've got a whole career to have that moment, and it's about patience and. Naturally, there's some disappointment when you feel like there's been attention on some of your work and people responded to it in a positive way, and you don't get that nomination. But also, it just means like put your head down, go to work, and keep pushing yourself.
Patience is a virtue that you have, and I feel like it's really groomed you and taught you well, my friend. I mean,
well, thanks.
A lot of people don't respond that way, especially after creating music for 15 years. I mean, maybe that's a way you can measure success almost a little bit.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, it definitely feels like I've got a second life in my career. When Jealous and Chains, the last record, did what it did, it felt really good to kind of have life again, because it did feel like at one point maybe at 21 I would have my career would be done and having to figure out what's next. So I'm incredibly grateful and in a good frame of mind for the next steps.
Tove Lo, Big Sean, Ty Dolla $ign,
Yeah.
Allen Iverson.
How'd you get Allen Iverson on the album? When I saw it, I was like, what the hell?
All on the album.
Yeah.
Last year was complicated.
Well, the story with that one is a song called Comfortable, and we were writing the verse for the song, me and JayZ Nevigan, who did Chains in the last record. And the whole idea of a song is about trusting somebody and who you place your trust in, and why you place your trust in them. And the verse says, Iverson was right, it's only practice. I don't need a mic because the fact is I'm living my life in solid gold. It's about like being happy, being content. And so we were watching SportsCenter and trying to figure out what we wanted to do with the bridge of the song. We're like, is it a feature? Are we going to write a bridge? And that famous practice.
Talking about practice.
Yes, that came on. We were like, oh my God, it's perfect. So we just took the audio, put it in the track, and it fit perfect. And it sounds like a spoken word. It's like actually, when you hear it in context, it actually sounds like we planned it or something. It's just so.
Wow.
So his audio from that press conference is now in the song?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we reached out to be able to use it. Obviously, got to get permission.
Yeah.
And he was down, and it was just great. Yeah, so Ty Dolla $ign and Big Sean, who just amazing. He killed a verse on his song "Good Girls," and then Tove. So we're close. We were on tour together last year. It was holiday radio shows, and we're on the same label, so there's a lot of history there. But I was like, listen, I got a song I want you to hear. I think we should do it. And as we got to know each other better and more, I kind of like timed when I sent it to her. I was like, what do you think? And then she reworked her verse and made it her own. And the video too comes out today, and it's very, very intense.
I got to see this video. I saw the teaser, the chess pieces.
The video is, yeah.
And I know that's you. You know what I mean?
Cold shower after that.
Like that's your vision, right? Is that you creatively directing all of that? Is that your idea? That's your concept?
Well, I'm the guy that as I said before, I have a million ideas, and I see music very visually. So like, I now have my team locked on the creative front. John Taylor, who you met, who I work with, and he's creative director for me and Demi and Joe, but we over the last year really locked in. Every song that would come in, we'd say, all right, let's get 100 ideas, and then we'll know which one's right. So with Close and Chainsaw, actually, we already shot the music video for that. It's very clear, comes from a very real place, and working with him and the whole team on just getting it right in every detail. Because it's all about, I think, showing people the work beyond just the song and making it clear what it means to you. And so with this video, I'm really proud of it. And Tove brought a whole, another level of energy to it that just, I think, is really sexy and beautiful. And it's kind of like an art piece a little bit.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I really am. And I'm excited for the meaning. I mean, I mentioned before, the meaning behind this is because you can't open up. You don't feel like you were vulnerable. Why is that, though? Well, why can't you open up?
I don't know. Maybe past hurt or
Yeah.
guilt. Even that is a real thing that leads you to not be able to really get vulnerable with somebody.
Could it be a fame thing too? I mean,
Maybe I don't know. I think that I maintain a pretty high level of normalcy, or
Yeah.
I try to at least. So I don't like using that as an excuse to be socially disconnected at times.
That makes hey, a lot of people don't do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's the scapegoat easy.
Yeah,
But
it is. It really is. And for a lot of it, I know it's like maybe there is that element of
Yeah.
it. But if it's there, I don't really want to acknowledge it because you got to try to just be as transparent and
Yeah.
as present as possible with people.
Amazing.
I want to know what the song "Bacon" is. I think that's on everyone's mind.
It's so funny because I was last night. It was late.
Yeah.
I maybe had a drink or two, and I was like in my room.
A Bombay Sapphire?
Well, actually, it was just a Tito's soda.
Okay.
Well, I guess it was not last. It was 2 nights ago, and I'm there on Twitter, and I'm just kind of like letting it go, just letting it roll. And bacon, immediately everyone's like, "What is bacon?"
Yeah, everyone's going crazy, being like, "What is bacon?"
I've gotten
Yeah.
so many tweets this morning asking.
Basically, the idea of the song is when you finally feel a little peace after something has ended, and you're kind of living your life, and you're realizing you are happy, you are content, and saying life is so good. Basically, throw some bacon on it. Because bacon makes everything better.
I was thinking in my mind, I was like, "This is gonna be about like waking up in the morning, like,
Everyone
making
thinks,
breakfast for your like SO." I took like the really literal approach.
Yeah, it's definitely not that. It's gonna be fun to see.
Hey, you're the
people hear it.
songwriter, not me.
And champagne problems, that got me thinking.
Yeah, champagne problems. I'm really excited for people to hear this one.
Yeah.
This is one of actually the most personal songs, but it's strangely kind of feels like a party jam. So it's got a really great beat. It's a little bit of a throwback vibe too. So there's that element to it. But my goal is that in every club, when they bring out the bottle of champagne, this will be the song playing,
Hell
even though
yeah.
it's about something kind of sad.
Yeah. Have you had a champagne problem?
A few, yeah.
Yeah?
We all have. though. We all have. We all have.
Okay, last year was complicated. We talked about your breakup. We've covered a lot here. I got to mention that you throw the best parties. You
Thanks.
really do.
I'm honored.
They're always a great time. I mean, you're rolling cigars. There's great drinks.
I do love a cigar.
You
know this. about me.
We all know.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is a very big thing. I mean, how often are we doing the cigars here? Is this a daily ritual?
No. I mean, if I say that, then I'm gonna get in trouble, probably from my doctor or something. But no, I mean, I don't know how to answer. I like cigars.
What is it about a cigar? Because that's what I can't understand, right? And I'm trying to understand
it's
it.
the whole culture of it.
Okay.
So, I had teachers, people that were actually on tour with us, who became partners in a cigar company called Tatuaje.
Awesome.
And so, when I was 20 or something, they showed me the art of making a cigar and what goes into it. So it's there are people that like wine, understand how that works, and your palate can sort of form, and you start to understand more about the whole thing, what
Yeah.
you like, what you don't like. So yeah, that's where it comes from.
Cool.
And then now, in the midst of my life, which is pretty wild, it's nice to have something that forces me to sit down for 45 minutes and just chill.
Decompress.
Yeah.
Soak in the day.
Exactly.
I love it. What's
Now,
on your mind?
What's it like being on the beach with every single Victoria's Secret model?
Oh man, that was just an unbelievable trip. So we was talking about this Victoria's Secret swimsuit special thing.
Yeah.
And it was in St. Bart's, which I've never been to before. And the thing that's great about the brand with Victoria's Secret is that they vet the girls. Not only obviously they're beautiful, but they're also good people. So they go through a whole process to become an angel. You have to be like a good person on top of it. So it makes the environment and something like that, because it feels a bit like summer camp. We were there for a week, shooting a bunch of different stuff and performances and all this. It feels like just a great time with your friends and Ed Razik, the guy that's kind of in charge of the whole thing. He's pretty incredible, and his vision for the whole thing was great. It was just fun. And then Joe kind of popped down. He saw me posting pictures and was like, "This, I can't miss this." So he came down and hung for a little bit too.
Are we hooking up with girls while we're here? I mean, this is unless we're not newly single. But what's going on here?
I mean, listen, I'm happy to be single. I'm very and that's important right now in my life. But I'm trying to just meet people,
Okay.
and just if it's a casual drink or whatever, just go out. To a certain degree, put myself out there, meet people that I can connect with, because we all want that on some level. I think some kind of connection with somebody, even if it's not serious.
And I feel like that's the kind of guy you are, right? I don't know if you're like a hit it and quit it one night stand kind of guy. I feel like you're I'm gonna get to know you and let's see where this goes.
Experience
type of guy.
life on some level together.
Yeah.
There's tons of Barbara Palvin rumors going around right now.
There is. So she came with the whole group of us to Vegas because Joe was DJing.
Cool.
Known her forever when I was living back in New York, like, the whole crew.
Yeah.
But we had fun. It was a fun trip. She'd never been to Vegas. It was her friend's birthday. And we went and had a good time.
Just a part of getting to know someone, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, a part of a big group of people all hanging out.
I gotta ask.
Not exclusive to just being with me.
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Kate Hudson, dude.
You got to ask.
I mean, like, I don't know who should be prouder, you or Kate Hudson, right? Like, let's be real. Like, do you think she brags
She's
about
got
her friend,
plenty
like, to
to
her
be
friends
proud
about you?
I mean, she's amazing, great actress, and no, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna.
Raising Helen was a great movie.
Great movie. No, she's great. I mean, I've spoken about it before, and, and I'm not in that real phase of my life anymore where I'm trying to shy away from questions and answering it head on. But out of respect for specific people in their personal lives, I feel like it's important not to go too deep. But I'd spoken to Complex magazine cover story I did where I just said, look, we had a great connection, and I get why there was some intrigue about it because for obvious reasons.
Of course.
But again, out of respect for her, I'm just going to say she's amazing, and our connection together was great. But I am happily single.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there a high five though that happens between you and Joe? That's like, you know what? Like, yeah, man.
Joe's doing just fine. He's doing just fine right now.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we're wrapping it up. Go, Jill.
Whenever you and Joe like talk about the Jonas Brothers, I feel like we always hear you guys have great things to say, but it's always like it's definitely the past for you guys, right? Is there anything shameful about it? Like, are you ever ashamed of it?
Never ashamed of it. I mean, I think that it was hard at first breaking off as a solo artist. Because there was really, I think, just a bias towards the whole thing, and anyone with the last name Jonas sort of progressing beyond that. So it was a goal to just break some of the preconceived ideas and push things in a new direction. But I think that, there's no shame. I mean, when we speak about it, it's probably not the stories that some people think we would talk about, but some of the moments that were, sort of behind closed doors fun and funny memories that we have that are crazy that some of these things happened because it almost feels like a different life,
Yeah, I was a huge fan.
Thank you.
I was.
And before you go, I have one last question, and I'm interested. At what point in all of this, for the last 15 years, did you know that your life would never be the same?
Oh, wow, good question.
What was it?
I think there was this real clear memory. It was a Texas State Fair with the brothers, and it was our first real big show where we kind of knew it was headed somewhere. And we played this show, and I think 50,000 people came out, and we were like, we were definitely not at the level as far as our musicianship and our writing that would merit that many people coming. So I think for me it became very real. My life will never be the same, and I need to now push myself harder because there's more eyes on me. And I'm not actually in a spot where I feel like I deserve this, or So it was really about just pushing myself and just trying to be the best I could be, and it hasn't been the same since then. That's for sure.
Incredible, Nick Jonas. The respect, admiration I have for you, the love.
Thanks, man.
Seriously, it's incredible, and it's continuing to rise, and it's been the most awesome thing just to watch and to be a fan of. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate all you do. Hey,
look at you.
Thank you, brother.
Just killing it.
Thank you. Wow. I'm blushing. Nick Jonas, last year was complicated. You can pre-order it today. Close, featuring Tove Lo, is the single.
It's out now.
It's out now, baby. Nick Jonas.
Should we play it? We should play it.
We should play it.
Let's do it.
Let's play it.
Sweet. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, man. Thank you for that. Seriously. Much appreciated.